In addition to our city and the values of the city of Naperville, another important force in the city of Naperville is the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber works to further the interests and the opportunities for all of our local businesses. And the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce consistently seeks opportunities for our businesses to succeed. Naperville 203 has been fortunate to partner with the Chamber to conduct a series of surveys of its membership to help inform the work of the Business Council on college and career readiness. This information has helped us to develop some programs to help our students succeed in the world of work. Those surveys results provided insight into the knowledge, skills, qualities, and characteristics that businesses seek in employees. The responses also aligned with our school district mission. We heard that they want people who are self-directed and community contributors. Nonetheless, the survey responses also illustrated an overwhelming response and emphasis on the need for our students to develop their soft skills. So, Business Council member and now Chamber Board President Adam Russo approached me with a novel idea about building student soft skills. To tell you more about our Student Leadership Institute, please help me welcome Adam Russo and Rick Lochner.
Thank you. When we talked about the Student Leadership Institute, it was part of the Workforce Development Committee at the Chamber, and it kind of came out of a brainstorming session of the Naperville Chamber every year that Rick is a facilitator of, does a Leadership Institute for adults. They do it every year, January through April or so, and it's a curriculum-based process about developing these soft skills for adults. And we sat around talking, and the thought was, well, why don't we do one of these for kids? Why not? We have these surveys that local businesses say, the interns were just alluding to, how do you act in a workplace? This was kind of the whole point. So, and how do you get the exposure for kids to learn some of these skills in a setting that's really more organized and directed, but at the same time gives them the freedom to really learn for themselves what it means to be a leader, to be independent, to be able to speak your mind in a meeting when you might be the only voice speaking in one direction and everyone else is going the other. What is that thought process like? And we came up with the school district was absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I've never seen a large system move so fast in getting the first Leadership Institute up. I think by the time we had the idea to the open house to going, it was about 6 weeks. It was fantastic. This year we're on our second round of doing the Leadership Institute. The school district has been great with it, and the whole thing has been how do we again just help kids kind of learn about being independent and being able to speak your mind in rooms and in settings that it might not be the most popular opinion or voice, but that their voice does matter with it. So I'll pass on to Rick to talk a little bit more about the program itself.
Thanks, Adam. So, I hope you appreciate the fact that when Adam and Julie came to me and said, hey, can you put something together, the fact that we literally did launch. Now, who in a school district has ever launched from beginning to end in 6 weeks and had that kind of success? So, the fact that we were able to do that I think is amazing. And of course, I remember at graduation last year, not only the pride from the kids, but I got a chance, and I kind of focus in on the pride that the parents have, that they see the transformation in their kids over the course of the school year. So what is this program? Well, technically it's called Rising Stars. Fittingly, these are Rising Stars. And it's a program that is based on fundamentally developing 3 things: a positive mental attitude, interpersonal skills, and goal-achieving skills. Now, I purposely played out goal-achieving. We're very good at goal setting. I mean, this is the time of year, right? We've all set goals. But it's not about setting goals, it's about achieving goals. And how do we teach our up-and-coming leaders how to achieve goals, because that's what's going to separate them from the rest, is those that can actually get the desired results for whatever it is they do. And whatever age they are. So the program itself is really based on, it's research-based, but it's based on the Search Institute's developmental assets, and those of you that work with kids in different nonprofits probably know what I'm talking about. The developmental assets are predictive dimensions, predictive skills that say if the kids have these, and if they develop these, then their chance of success in the world increases exponentially. So It's really based on a set of 40. Half of them are internal, so we look at internally, how do we develop that sense of self, sense of who they are, a sense of their own core values. What are their core values? And it's always interesting to when I do the open house, and of course we have the kids that want to are interested in the program and their parents. Now is that time of life when you establish what are your core values and how do you behave in those core values and start to become independent from the values that your parents, your teachers, clergy, whomever influenced you. So you look at the social competencies. How do they interact? How do you interact with family? How do what's your attitude? What's your mindset towards how you interact socially? And then externally, we look at empowerment. We look at boundaries and expectations. What an interesting concept when you think about kids at that age. And what are the expectations? And what are their boundaries? Are they too low? Are they too high? And being able to succeed. And of course, one of the most popular ones in the program is constructive use of time. I can tell you that with the 14 kids that went through the program last year, and we'll hear from one here shortly, and the 23 kids that are in the program this year, every single one of them has a different concept of time and how they manage their time than they did when they started the program. So I would suggest that if there was a curriculum, if there's one piece of this curriculum that would help every student in any school, it's managing time. So the program itself is based on all of the things that you've talked about from Adam and the internship programs, the goal achieving, the time management, the communication skills. All of that's wrapped up in a 14-chapter text that we use. We put them through an action plan, a plan that says they actually go through and ask themselves, what are my social values? How do I develop myself mentally? How do I use my time, and what changes could I make? We had a student from the first class last year stand up in front of class, and I thought her classmates were going to suck the air out of the room when she said this. He said, "I deleted all my social media." Now, what high school junior would do that if it wasn't important? If there wasn't a reason to, it wasn't a greater reason that social media was taking up her time. And she said, "Hey, it works great. I deleted it. I'm okay with it." And she went on to accomplish the things that she wanted to, and not let that be a distraction. So, an action plan that helps them develop their physical. How do they see themselves physically? How do they see themselves as a member of their families? A lot of feedback on, hey, I think I appreciate my siblings more. I think I appreciate my parents more. All of this is part of the program. Something we didn't do last year, but we did this year, was we created, because these kids are doing this on their own, their spare time. They're doing this on institution days. They're doing this on days when they don't, they could be, having a day off, but yet they come in for 3 hours 5 times throughout the year to learn how to become more effective leaders. And so what we do, because we do have a break between October and January, we have them work on a service project. And different from other service projects, the kids themselves came up with the idea for the service project. Because as we explained to them, it's easy to say, go do this project. But it's an entirely different thing altogether to say, what problem do you see, and can you put together a team to solve it? That's leadership. And that's the kind of leadership we want them to understand that is important. The ability to see the issue and tackle it, not just say, here's an issue, here are the things you got to do, go do. So last but not least, we interact, because this is a relation or a collaboration with the business community. We have the business community come in and speak to the students, much like we do with the Chamber Leadership Institute. It's always an interesting dialogue when you learn about a topic and then you have community leaders come in and have an interactive dialogue. I know Tom Carroll has participated in that. other members of the community, Ray McGurry has participated in it. So it brings it home, because at the end of the day, it's not the fact that you know something, it's how do you apply it to achieve the desired results that you want. So with that, I'd like to bring Emily Newell up from last year's class and tell us her experience.
Thank you. Hello, good morning to everyone. So, ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. And more specifically, I wanted to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. So, for any of you guys who know a bit about the medical field, it's probably not the easiest thing to choose. So cardiothoracic surgery is probably one of the longest routes of school, especially in medical school. And I always knew that I wanted to do this, but the problem with me was I didn't know how do I go. So I'm a freshman, I'm a sophomore, I'm a junior. How do I take what I want and turn it into something that will actually help me in the future, especially at the high school level? And so this program really helped me to look at my goal, my long-term goal, and actually make it happen, like Rick said. So it's not just about having a goal and like me wanting to be a doctor, that doesn't really mean anything unless I'm able to apply and like do something about it. And so that was one of the biggest parts for this program that helped me the most. So my project over the break from October to January that I did is I just said to myself, I have to do something at this level. I need to figure out what it is I need to do that will apply to my future. And what I came up with is I decided I would apply to a pre-college program. And if you don't know what that is, that's just like something over the summer that colleges host and allow high school juniors and seniors to go and just experience college and experience classes and things like that. And so I applied to a program at Emory University in Atlanta. And what I did is I ended up getting in, and I found out about that in February. And then over the summer for 2 weeks, I went to Emory University and learned about neuroscience and anatomy. And that was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had, especially in terms of the medical field, because it really solidified what I wanted to do, and also gave me exposure to like the college setting, as well as taking a college class, like how to balance that schedule when I was completely on my own for 2 weeks. And then along with that, applying that to my senior year, I became more involved in the medical field. So now I volunteer at hospice at Sunrise, which is across from my high school, a few times a week, and I visit them and read my patients there. I also volunteer at the hospital in Bolingbrook at the ER, and I start that in a month. And I am involved in Dr. Rubin's mini medical school. I'm a TA for that this year, and that goes for 6 weeks, and it's at Edgewood Hospital. And we basically just go through each year of medical school, and we get to tour the hospital and meet actual doctors and things like that, which is super important. And so basically overall, this experience has allowed me to take my goal and actually apply it. And I found out last week that I am moving on to second round for a pre-professional medical program at Case Western University. And so what that means is I'm being considered to be a direct admit into medical school as a freshman at Case Western. And so I'm super excited about that. And without this program, I'm not So I just want to give a special thanks to everyone involved in this, especially Rick, for allowing me to gain the confidence that I need and the skills that I need to make my dreams a reality.
I'd like Emily, and I know that there's a few other students who graduated from the program last year, if they could also come up for the photo. I know you're hiding out there somewhere. We had 14 kids in last year's program. We have 23 in this year's program. So as you can see, the program is growing. The kids apply to it, so it's a program that is in essence something that is not just something else to do. They want to do it.